Guys, welcome back. Dodge Caravan. You guys are going to think this is going to be the Caravan channel. We got plenty of them to work on, and I don't know if because it's just, Mopar, or if it's because it's our area and we're overwhelmed with soccer moms, evidently. So a lot of caravans around here, but there's also a lot of Chrysler dealerships too. So I think that's why we see them a lot. This one has developed a thirst for antifreeze. And it's got about 173,000 miles on it. I've isolated it down to the number 3 cylinder that has, like I say, started taking on a bunch of coolant to the point where it's, a gallon or so every couple of weeks. I give the guy the option to either, pull the heads or replace the engine with a low mileage used engine, which I thought was the better option, especially the 170 plus K on it. Jobs are about $1,000 difference between the two, between pulling heads, mill tank mag, valve job, head gaskets, the whole bit, putting it together versus the used engine we have sitting over there. I seen the van I got, well, obviously, I guess I should say I did get a used engine, or he opted to go with the used engine route. I seen the van it came out of, it was hit hard in the right front corner. It has just under 71,000, it has 70,900 something on the odometer when I checked it out. It was a good runner. They were able to run it and warm it up prior to pulling it, and it was a fresh kill, so they just took it out from me the other day, dropped it off. And we're gonna put it in here. The little dilemma is, the book time's really low on this. They hardly pay anything to change these engines, and they also want you to pull it out the bottom with the transmission. And I got looking, I think, if I remember right, the cowl comes off these things relatively easy. Or at least I hope it does. I'm pretty sure that whole mess comes off, and that will give us the room this way. The only thing I'm concerned about is the room this way. Flywheel to bell housing, pulley to frame. The flywheel on this has your crank trigger on it. So that puts, from the back of the bell housing to the end of the flywheel is 2 inches, and I've only got about 1.5 inches of space on the pulleys, and the main pulley that's hitting appears to be the water pump. So I guess with that being said, I think if we remove the water pump, the belt tensioner water pump, obviously the power steering pump and AC will come off, alternator, that's not going to be in the way. But I think if we take the water pump off, I think the engine can just come out the top. I think we take the hood off, take the cowl off, call it good. Might bring the question as to why I don't drop it out the bottom. Frankly, in New York, you get rusty cars, you start messing with subframe bolts, your day can get bad very quickly. So I would always rather just take them out the top if I can and see if that works. And that's that. It's time to get started. So we'll just start with getting the hood off. And I just broke it. That's not good. Jeez. I just broke the squirter. That pushed out. So don't do that. It's what you don't want to do. Just break off the squirter. Well, that sucks. Hope the whole job doesn't go like that. First thing you touch, snap. Lovely. So a viewer gave me a good tip the other day, and I thought I'd pass it along. I don't remember what video it was on, maybe a Pontiac video or something. Did pull the engine. It was about removing hood hinges and getting them to line up correctly. If I understand him right, he said take an 1/8 inch drill bit, drill right through the hinge and right through the hood on both hinges. That way, when you put the hood back on, you just stick your drill bits back in those holes and everything should be 100% perfectly lined. I thought that was a good tip. So I thought I'd pass that along to you guys. Let's see if I can't get this off the rest of the way without destroying everything. Maybe. I got the rest of the hose off without casualty. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark around them with a magic marker at this point, just around the curve. definitely will probably use that advice at some point in my career, I'm sure. Particularly working by yourself, sometimes it can be difficult. You know, put hoods back on, realigning stuff. Probably use that method for, you know, like if you're going to use it for hood latches and all kinds of things, I guess. I think it would, if it was me, I probably would do 2 holes, because a lot of times, you know, if you just had 1 hole, it could still, you know, teeter on that single hole. So I don't know, maybe I totally misunderstood the whole concept there, but anywho. He's not starting out well. I'm just hoping that I'm not making a huge mistake trying to pull this out the top. Take it, unhook the battery real quick. Safety third. There's no more rules. Pulled the little covers off the wiper arms. We'll take and zip those off. Hopefully. That one's super crusty. I hope that comes off easy. Well, let me get a puller. Tell you what. The equalizer. So we'll pull these little scrivets. Remember we learned the name of these? These screw rivets, scrivets. I think that's a Ford terminology. I think there's a couple of them on here. Yeah, there's one down here. I hope I'm right about this cowl. Pretty sure this whole shooting mess comes off. Yeah, there's a metal. Oh, there's a little metal tab on here. Does it all come off? It does not. Wah, 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 wah. What was I thinking of? I was thinking of another kind of van. Obviously not a caravan. Big dummy. Well, we can at least clean the leaf debris out of here from the pine trees. What the heck was I thinking of? What's the van that whole thing comes off of? Well, we know it's not a caravan. Are we still gonna try to take it out the top? Oh, I don't see why not. Let's do some measuring. Maybe we can just yank the radiator fan. That sucks. I feel like a jackass now. Live. So I was just slipping this little guy back on there, getting ready to put the scrivets in. I guess I didn't realize it. This thing sticks out about 3 inches or more over the metal cowl. So, yeah, that definitely, I mean, look at that lip. This is where the cowl sits, and then this is the plastic edge that overextends it. So, you know, that's the main reason I took that off, basically, regardless of this metal piece being stationary or not, you know. Not really. I thought that whole thing, somebody remind me what I'm thinking of. Do you guys know the Caravans? Is it the Chevy Ventures? Is it the old Caravans? Fords maybe? Remember the whole wiper transmission, everything comes out in one jumbo piece? Maybe it's the old body style. Whatever. I own it. Okay, let's keep trucking. Well, that escalated quickly. My day just went from, 8 o'clock this morning to almost lunchtime. We didn't do anything. So, trying to figure out where we left off here. Probably ought to leave that plugged in. Ought to unplug that. Might say. I'm thinking if we get the cooling fan out of the way, that'll give us some more room, this way. I don't think pulling the radiator will give us any benefit. If we get to the point where we're taking this out, the radiator's got to come out. Looks like we can unbuzz this core support, maybe move it ahead. But let's see what we're going with. And for those of you who don't follow us on Facebook, this is Chloe. This is Sheba's new roommate, shop dog. So that's Chloe. She's our new puppy.
Hey, your new puppy.
Our new puppy.
Oh.
Mrs. O is not super impressed. She told me not to get another one, but I did. And what?
So now you have to buy me one of those robot vacuums?
Robot vacuum?
Yeah.
Are these, they don't shed.
I figure I'm never going to buy new furniture, and my floors are always going to be dirty.
Saving money. Think about it like that.
You know how much this robot vacuum stuff?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, you know how much not buying furniture is going to save? I think you're probably.
You're a pro.
So we'll take and pull this upper hose off here. That way we can get our washer jug out. Not the washer jug, the overflow jug. Don't listen to anything I say today. I don't think today is going to be my day. At least I haven't started out that way. And my goal was to have this thing done by the end of the day. Oh, I should just kind of hang around. The coolant in this thing literally smells like gas. You could actually smell the blown head gasket on this thing. But it just stinks. Smell that. You can't smell TV, you fool. So this wiring harness, we have to get out. Oh, it's just the little Christmas tree fasteners. Well, I guess we'll just get it over with. I thought they were going to be like the little push tabs you push and pop out, but you son of a. You know what? Unfreaking believable. Oh, we're going to fix them the old-fashioned way. Nip pack style. Because you start frigging around with this thing. You're just gonna have a broken fan shroud. So I want to just take and cut these off. I've got more of these, so I'm not even gonna screw around with them. Jeez. But she does have 180K on her. I'll give her a little bit of a break. So this fan doesn't have any no screws that hold it in. A couple little push tabs right here on the radiator. Push it, slipping out. This holder, that holder, and there's matching ones on the other side. And I believe our coolant reservoir was held in with these keyholes. You know, you stick it in a big slot, slip it down. That's what I'm guessing. We'll start getting some of the bigger crap out of the way here, like the air cleaner housing. Got to get that off. Oh man, probably not a good day to record an entire engine swap. But for whatever reason, you guys like to watch these. It's probably because of the commentary. But probably not. Alright, what do we got? I'll hold that. Now we're gonna need some bolts. So at this point, I just passed 30,000 subscribers. I don't know where we'll be at when we do this video, but this is the first week of April, I guess. I think this is just, yep, I'm right. Good guess. So this air box is held in with these little dongers and a little rubber thing here. That goes on a corresponding metal donger down below. So I grabbed your AC machine. I'm gonna take and just draw it down while we're working here. I'm a little indecisive as to whether or not I'm gonna leave the compressor on, take it off. I don't even think this has a charge on it anyways, so it may not even matter. No, there's not even a charge on this system, so we're good with that. Gauge is going to come up. So that answers that pretty quick. More than likely needs some rear evap lines or, yeah, evap lines. Lines for the rear evaporator. Done a video on that, changing these. Really common. So because the AC is completely discharged, we're going to unhook the hoses and then take the compressor completely off. Yep, definitely no charge on them whatsoever. We'll take the compressor completely off. Typically what you would do is just unhook the compressor, leaving the hoses attached and then setting it to the side. You know, this whole system has been exposed to the atmosphere and all that hoopla. So, and then whatever's wrong with it as far as the leak or anything, you know, that would need fixed. I'm still going to plug off the compressor. We don't want to get junk in that. As far as we know, the compressor's still good. It just has a leak. So I'm going to plug that off and then just take the unhook the electrical connector from it. And then the 2 bolts and 2 nuts and just get that right out of our way. Now that the AC compressor is up and out of the way, I've just got to move the hose out of the way there better. Got to take the power steering pump off, which is not a big deal. That just has, I believe, just 2 bolts, you know, coming in. You just reach in through the pulley. I like to leave the hoses hooked up. We can leave the reservoir hooked up, hopefully move the whole mess to the side. I see the pressure line kind of snakes up through here. Looks like it's held on there by the engine mount, and then another little bracket up here by the alternator, so we'll pull that little cover off, get that out of the way. looks like maybe a little 10 millimeter down there. Yep. I can't say enough about this tool. It's probably by far my most favorite ratchet I've ever owned. Okay, so that's loose. Figure out what size bolts. What size socket I need there? Probably a 13. Actually, I got a 13 short right here. You just got to give this one the old classic move. A couple guys mentioned about this ratchet here. This thing is super long. It's the new Mac fine tooth ratchet. I absolutely hate Mac Tools ratchets. They make probably the crappiest ratchets in the world. My Mac guy knows that, and he knows I'll never buy a Mac ratchet from him, so he gave me this one to use, begged me to use it, swears it's the best. I've used it, I used it, I guess past tense, for several weeks. I ended up buying it. I used it on many jobs that were very intense, like, I mean, I don't know how long this thing is now, but a couple feet or something like that. I use this on quite a few jobs where it should have broke, you know, where I'm not just pulling on it steady, I'm like hanging off of that thing, bouncing on it. And it didn't break, to my surprise, so I bought it. And it's been good. I used to always say the only thing worse than a Mac ratchet was a fine tooth Mac ratchet, because they just broke faster. I like other Mac tools, but I hate the ratchets. But I like that ratchet. So we'll see. I think price-wise, I think it's like the same price as Snap-on, so I guess it really doesn't matter. I think it was $100 and some for that ratchet, if I remember right. It's kind of expensive, but he's here every Friday, so if something happens, you know. So there's 3 bolts on this power steering pump, by the way. You've probably noticed at this point. When you're using a ratchet like this in tight quarters, don't back yourself up against the frame. I can tell you that, but you'll still do it because I still do it. It's kind of like a do as I say, not as I do type thing, I guess. That's one advantage to a closed head ratchet that has the shift lever down towards the body, you know, like down towards here. So if you do back yourself in a corner, but with this style, you back the head in, you're pretty much screwed. Okay, so power steering pump is loose and off. I'm going to work on a couple of these other front accessories. I'm going to take the belt tensioner off, so that's just 1 bolt in the middle. I'll probably take this pulley off just because. That way we don't accidentally bang it and break it. And then I think I'm going to yank the lower radiator hose off, lower right here, get that dumping into a bucket, and just kind of start getting things opened up. And we'll kick the camera back on after that. None of this is rocket surgery here. So yeah, that radiator hose off. I can't really, I wish I could express how much that coolant smells. It smells so bad. From all the exhaust gas percolating through it. I can only assume that's what it is. That's really what it smells like. I just can't say I've ever smelled one this bad that, and realistically, this thing wasn't blown that severely, you know. I mean, it didn't have any other overheating concerns, you know, anything like that the guy expressed anyways, other than the, you know, the mysterious coolant loss. So, you know, a mysterious coolant loss and a P0303 and a rough start or a rough idle in the morning. So, you know, I kind of put all 2 and 2 together, and he had already done, of course, you know, when you get a misfire, you already automatically do plugs and wires. That was already done. Misfire was still present. I checked it, you know, mechanically, you know, coil, everything was good, all the outputs are good during the misfire event. It was very brief, so it was quite difficult to diagnose. Then it started consuming more coolant. So at that point, I was able to do a CO2 test on it, and it failed almost immediately. You know, you put a CO2 tester in the radiator, and it would turn the blue fluid yellow within, you know, less than a minute. And the one big thing that clued me into is when I brought it in the one morning, it was cold. I just started up, I drove it in, it didn't even run like literally less than 30 seconds because I didn't want it to warm up at all. I started it, put it in drive, coasted in, shut it off. I got in here, popped the radiator cap, and it was poof, you know, had a lot of pressure just in that little brief drive. So that was kind of odd. And, you know, like I said, just started kind of putting all the clues together to come up with the best test to figure this out. And that's what we determined, and that's how we arrived at the spot we're at today. Still ripping stuff off. What I turned the camera back on for is the wiring harness. There is no central spot to unhook it, so what we're going to do, the wires run under the alternators. I'm just going to take and yank the alternator off, 2 bolts, you know, the main wire, the other wire here, the little 2-pin connector, and the harness goes down and across the front of the engine. And so I'm going to unhook it so I can get this undone, and the throttle body, wherever else we have there, cam sensor or something probably, O2 sensors, get that unhooked and just kind of swing that out of the way for us. Because even if we are wrong and this won't fit out the top, we still have to unhook that, you know, to get it out the bottom. So I think everything we're doing is necessary, except for the cowl. If we are wrong and it has to go out the bottom, hopefully it comes out the top. Come on, baby. Sometimes you gotta talk nice to him. Sometimes you gotta be mean to him. Not too mean. I have to get a little pick for that guy. Oh, come on. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw something. Oh, don't tell me this thing's got a red tab in it. Oh, I'd like to meet the guy that made those. Punch him straight in the mouth. Seriously, folks. Hi, guys. Oh, sucker, you. Yes, I got the red tab unhooked. I don't know why they invented those. I mean, did the guy have a car one day, he popped the hood on, and every connector just miraculously came unhooked by itself one day when he was driving it, or what? You know, geez. I don't know what the deal is with those things, but it's almost as bad as those green ones they put on Nissans, for crying out loud. Those things are awful. Maybe I'm just being whiny. I don't know, look, I don't know if you guys can see it or not. Probably not. Yeah, you can. What am I talking about? little purge solenoid up there, we'll get that unhooked. Got a pressure switch here on the AC. That unhooked. You know, we got a red locks on certain things, yet the throttle body here, no red lock. You would think, like, if you want something to not come unplugged, it would be that, but I'm not an overpaid engineer, so I don't know. But we seem to put them where it's like the most difficult area to get to. Maybe the throttle body had something at one point, but doesn't appear to have any kind of locking device. But anyway, I'll keep working on this harness. It just goes around, hooks to our starter, oil pressure switch down there. Of course, we've already unhooked the AC. I've got to go underneath the van and find the red lock that goes into this. When I took it out with a pick, I heard it go flinging. It will not hurt my feelings if I don't find it, nor will I lose sleep over it. And one thing I'm wondering here, let's see. Yeah, we don't have to pull the intake because this was all of our injectors. Our coil. Looks like maybe a coolant sensor or something there. So that should be good. So hopefully this is all the harness just here on the front. That would be fantastic. Got a gas line here. Our EVAT, we can unhook that. Get that out of the way so we don't break that line during the removal process. Maybe we'll get that off. Come on, baby, be nice to me. Oh yeah. There you go. That'll go. Okay. So we'll get that out. All up and out of the way. I've zip tied our power steering pump out of the way. Yeehaw. I don't want to unhook the gas line. We have to take this crossover pipe over here. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's a crossover pipe that goes manifold to manifold. I think that has to go. It sure would make life a lot easier if it was on my way. I think it's missing on the used engine I got. It is. It appears to be. So, if that's not a huge pain in the neck, it is nuts and bolts. We can use the torch and just go full gorilla on it and just cut the heads off the bolts if they decide to be mean to us. I think it's going to make life easy if that's how the way. This does have an oil cooler on it. I think. Well, it's got, no, what is that hose? Oh, that's just for the rear heat. Never mind, I don't know anything. So that's what I'm going to do. Whatever I told you I'm going to do, that's what I'm going to do. Harness, we're working on the harness. So we got the wiring harness off without casualty. There's a couple heater hoses back here that run to like the heater core and the rear heat. We're going to see if we can't get those off and out of the way. So there's this one, the other one down here you guys probably can't see. It's got a quick connect on it. So see if I can get that rotating, and then the aluminum pipe that runs over from the, I guess it would be the inlet for the water pump. The inlet pipe, so this aluminum pipe, it's got one 10mm bolt on the front of the motor mount. So we'll get that cracked loose, get that rubber hose off. And that actually comes over here. So I'm going to leave that quick connect on this one hose that you guys can't see that I'm talking about. That's helpful, huh? Video representation of something you can't see. But yeah, anyhow, that's where we're at. It's almost lunchtime. Okay, lunch is over. I'm going to take this water pump pulley off. Possibly, if I can do it without smashing my fingers. Get this off and out of the way, and I think, like I say, that we're going to have to pull the entire water pump off, which is not, you know, that's not a huge, shouldn't be a big production. Oh, there's only 3 of them. That one's already loose. So, I'll take and pull this off. Everybody see my shiny new wrenches? Fancy. First wrench set I've bought since 1999. Of course, I guess I did get bought a few of the top tool wrenches in between, but as far as my main use, 12-point metric wrenches. I bought my last set in 1999. I bought a set of Napa Professionals, which were a fantastic tool, American made, and they've lasted me up till now. So, 17 years. I started having some that the jaws were getting worn on, and they were getting to where you couldn't use the open end because they'll just, they'll round off a bolt. And I went to warranty them, and they no longer make them. So I was super disappointed about that. So, not wanting a mismatched set or Carlisle wrenches that they replace them with, I opted to just take them all home for the at-home toolbox that doesn't exist, and replace them with those Mac ones. Oh, it does come off, doesn't it? Do you come off there? Oh, it does. Fantastic. I'm going to take and measure, see what we got here to the front of this pump. Crap, we only got like 1 1/8 to the front of the knob. Let's see, the crank pulley. Yeah, even the crank pulley, we only got 1 inch and, maybe 1 5/8. All right, well, let's go look at the used engine. So there's the used engine from the junkyard. We need to clear 1 7/8 minimum because of this flywheel. Yeah, so from the back of the housing, or the back of the block to the end of that ring is 1 7/8. So just under 2 inches. So we will pull the water pump and the balancer, which is no big deal. So I don't want to get stuck halfway out and have it all wedged in there. You can see it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 bolts or so on that water pump, and that'll come off. Then the balancer, that comes off pretty easy. Of course, we already got this crap off here, so I think it's still easier than pulling it out the bottom. So I'll start taking this off. Pretty straightforward. Should be, anyhow. There's 2 more. We have just a couple on the backside. I think I left my other light on, killed the battery, so we gotta use this one. Come on. Here's that one. Whoa. There's that one. All right, fancy. Oh, got a bucket ready. Hopefully it's just 4 bolts. Nope. Feels a little bit too stiff. Oh yeah. You gotta know when to stop prying. That felt a little bit too tight. Where are you? I know you're down here. There we go. Know when to say when. Oh, Kenny Rogers, right? Know when to hold them, huh? I don't know if that really applies here or not. It probably doesn't. Get a bucket ready. Well, now what? You're freaking kidding me, Dodge. Water pump won't even come out. Okay, there she goes. All right. Calm down, Eric. Calm down. Slips out the back, one little hole. I guess I probably ought to order us a water pump gasket because we don't have one of those. This one broke. The big fat sucker. Plastic impeller too. Keep that in mind. Always potential problems there. Okay, find my tools. I've got the pump gasket coming from Advance. Let me get a real good here. Good by 13. Like I said, I got the pump gasket coming. I did not have the gasket, but I bought a whole water pump. We'll steal the gasket out of the kit. And then we'll put the new gasket, when the gasket shows up tomorrow, in there. And yes, I asked the guy at the counter, or the commercial guy, if he would do that. It's actually his suggestion, so I'm gonna go with it, make it argue with him. I'll do that. The water pump for this thing was $185. That little pump we took off. I couldn't believe it. I looked it up to give him the number for the pump so he could steal the gasket out of the box. And yeah, 185 bucks for the pump. And I think that was my cost on it too, which Advance Auto really sucks as far as discounts, so that's probably only like $2 off from regular walk-in price. Come on, baby. Probably should spray a little something on these, but I didn't. All right, well, look at that. That is awesome. Can you believe them old rusty bolts came out that good? Can actually stick the air ratchet on that. It's probably a little too late for this, but we'll give them a little spritz there on the backside. Oh man, you can't even see those little guys at all. What can you see? What can you guys see? The back of my head? I don't even know what I just sprayed. You want to know who's a good company? Cowl. I just called them up just the other day because I had a case, actually a case that a viewer had sent me, which was really awesome. I believe his name was Eric, so you know he's a nice guy automatically. And a couple of those cans in the case were kind of fizzling out early. I guess, you know, they were about a quarter of the way full and just kind of lost their mustard, wouldn't spray anymore. So I just called them up and just out of concern, wondering if they had a bad case lot or something like that where the aerosol wasn't good in the cans. And they didn't have, not that they had report of or that anybody had called. Is that gonna break? And so I just talked to the guy on the phone, a guy named Joseph, whatever his name is. Spoke with him, and we made a determination that what I would do is save all the cans that fizzled out, and then when that case was gone, I'd call him up and he was going to replace the number of cans we had that went crappy, and I thought that was a fair deal, and that's what we determined. So we hung up, parted ways, and then within like, I don't know, it wasn't even 5 minutes, the guy calls me back and sending me a free case of Cowl and wanted to make sure I was completely satisfied and blah blah blah. And so I was like, sure. I did email him in my cans. I did want to send him my cans though. I sent him the 3 cans I had that were bad. Come on, baby. Simply because if there is a problem, I think I asked him if I sent them in if they would actually look at it or if they would just throw them in the garbage. He said no, that they would actually look at them. Did we break it? Did we? Nope. So I figured, well, if they can learn something, perhaps, and not have this issue happen again, then that'll be good. No, we didn't break it. She's tight like a tiger. I thought it was rotating here. Oh shit, you know what probably happened? It's probably that little wing nut on the back that... Why am I being stupid? I should just heat that thing up. Come on, piss pot. Well, let's take the top one loose. I'll talk to you guys like you're standing right here. You ever notice that? I should get somebody to work with me so I can talk to him. Well, I don't know if that bolt's gonna come out. You're gonna come out, you're gonna be mean. What are you gonna do? Forget about it.